game now. All right, so I welcome you once again to today's section. This Target Professional Consult and this Target. And then the host for today's meeting is Target himself, the chairman. All the core team, all my team are in position together with the team Target. Yes, tonight we are going to walk you through everything about product life cycle. It's part of the industry analysis. You see, let me give you a particular gist of this product life cycle. Every product, we normally call it artificial human being. Product is artificial human being. Company itself is also what? Artificial human being. When I say artificial human being, it means that there is a point of birth and there's a point of death. That's how human beings also behave. So product is something like it's a living thing. At a point in time, it fades off. So as a strategist, we must know the stages in which products normally goes through, right from the birth or the develop into production, and then finally it fade off from the market. And at each stage, what we have to do. Basically, that is it. Now, let's go straight to the game. So, product life cycle, basically. Now, with the product life cycle, here as a strategist, not necessary marketing. Marketers, operations, everyone is product life cycle, depending on the position you are coming from. So as a strategist, we want to know at every stage of the product life, what is the best strategy, especially in terms of cost. The most central focus is on the cost, the amount we are going to spend on each stage of the production. That's the most important. So let's take notice of that. Now, we normally call it the classical product life cycle. And then you must know what you call the cost implication of the product life cycle and the relevance of product life cycle to strategic management, and then the cycle of what? Completion. All this are in one package called what? Product life cycle. So let me repeat the sections that fall under product life cycle. First of all, we must know the stages. That's raw. Yes, so the product life cycle starts from the stages. So first of all, we must know the stages of product life cycle. So first thing is what you must know. Please, knowing this is not, it has not guaranteed, like we don't need this in exams. I call this textbook knowledge. Now let's go to the application. Then you must know the cost implication of product life cycle. That is what I want everybody to take notice of. Cost implication. Cost implication of product life cycle. So why is it that certain companies, they wait, they will sell the product up to a certain point, they do rebranding? Why is it they don't do the rebranding right from the introduction stage and they wait up to a certain level? It's because of the cost implication. At that time, the product must generate some level of cash flow so that we don't use extra funds to invest in that product. So the cost implication is very important. But if you don't know the product life cycle, you need to be able to tell us the real implication. So let's take note of the cost implication. So at every stage of the product life and the kind of cost we incur, likely to incur. So the first thing we are going to learn the cycle, the stages, no problem with that. That one is just a textbook knowledge. Then application is that at every stage, what are the likelihood of its cost implication? Some of the products at the early stage, their cost is very, very high. Almost all the products, with the exception of few of them. And then some of the product too, at a certain stage, we don't even care. No marketing cost again because everybody know the product already. The product have reached a stage where there's no need for us to spend on. And it reached another stage where we need to spend on rebranding, repackaging, reproducing, or what you call product extension. Now, extend our product like upgrading, product upgrade. And when you talk about this, iPhone, Apple Incorporation, they are very good at this. They are very, very good upgrading an existing product. So right from iPhone 13, we go to 14, and the rest continue. It's all as a result of what? The cost implication of what? Product life cycle. Again, then we also look at for the next section, the relevance of product life cycle to strategic management. Why are we learning product life cycle? What's the relevance? What's it important? What it practical benefit? So last sentence question they ask using product life cycle, what is the practical implication? And that is the application that we want. And here it is about organization to organization. How product life cycle will assist phone manufacturers might be different from how it will help what local farmers, tomato producers, and then the rest. So tomato producers versus phone manufacturers. Product life cycle, tomato have a very short life cycle. Phone can last a bit longer than tomato. So at the end of the day, how tomato producers will use product life cycle slightly different from how the phone producers will also understand, because tomato and phones go through different stages. So the case study they'll give to you in exams will determine how well you are going to explain. So learning this in class is the most easiest of all, but applying is difficult because when we are learning, we only give you the abstract. That if you like this product, the stages, there are only 5. We just list, everybody know. But how to apply it to a specific issue becomes a problem. So, and that is the relevance of what this model in a strategic what management. So the relevance is that how we can apply to a specific scenario. So please don't allow me to finish teaching you like that and go. At least let's apply to what a specific case study that, to this product, this is how we can apply. To this particular product, this is how we can apply. To another product, this is how we can apply. It's not the same because products don't have the same life cycle. Good. And the last one is a cycle of competition. Cycle of competition. So that's what we have to also look out for. So cycle of competition. Cycle of competition. And then that is it. That is all. So relevance of product life cycle in strategic management. Good. So now let's start. So these are the 4 things you must know. Many of us only learn the first one and we are done. That is why we cannot apply it. We might have the full knowledge of product life cycle, but applying it. So you see, from the second up to the 4th, that is what application is. So now, but if you don't know the stages that the product goes through, hardly can you apply. So first, let's quickly spend just 10 minutes going through the various stages in which product goes through. Then we now start its application. That is it. You see, I always say that product and company, they are what? Artificial human being. Artificial human being simple means and natural. We have a natural person and artificial person. Company is an artificial person. Product is an artificial person. Industry is an artificial person. We have a particular industry in the world. That industry is coming to a successful end and it will fade off. The industry started from our previous discussion. We gave some types of industry, about 5 types of industry. And I mentioned that we have what we call emergent industry. Emergent industry is an industry that it has been what? Newly developed, like the airlines. Now moving airplane to intercity, something that came new. It wasn't there in the olden days. No problem. So if we are to analyze that industry using product life cycle, what are the stages? So every industry, please, we don't only apply product life cycle to only products. You can apply it to a company. We don't only apply product life cycle to a product. You can apply it to what? A company, an industry, and a product. All of these, you can ask you to apply product life cycle to. Company can start, can go through growth. The company become a matured company, and then stay there, and then the company fade off. The same way industry, you can have industry that will start from the introduction, growth, mature, and then the industry collapse. And that is it. So please, we should not limit our understanding of product life cycle that it's only product that goes through, please. Not like that. It's product, company, and what? Industry. So if last certain, they ask you to apply it to a product, next time it will come, they'll ask you to apply it to a company. The next time it will come, you apply it to what? A whole industry. And applying to industry is it's a bit tricky. Applying to product is the easiest of all, and that's what you know in almost all textbooks. Applying it to company is a bit tricky, but it's less difficult as compared to the industry as a whole. Yes. So now let's go to the stages. So the stages are please, the product they use here is just a symbolic. So the word product here, it represents one, the product itself, the company itself, and then the industry. Good. So stages in product life cycle. So I can also say that stages in what? Company life cycle. I can also say stages in what? Industry life cycle. One may ask, target, you said we are learning industry and competitive analysis. Where from the product life cycle to? Are we analyzing product here? Don't forget that this product here is a symbolic. In taxation, when we use the word person, it refers to what? Individual, company, partnership, trust. So that product that you see here does not only mean only product. It can refer to what? Company. It can refer to what? The industry as a whole. And don't forget, we are analyzing what? Industry. Imagine I see you to set a question right now, ask you to use product life cycle to analyze industry. It will be a war. It will be a natural disaster. They will ask us that, that product life cycle, would you use to do industrial analysis? It will be a new story. So that is the game. Now, what are the stages? Every product, every company, every industry goes through what? A cycle. From point of what? Birth to point of what? Death. Yes, we have industry that has gone through all these stages and it has collapsed. We have an industry that has collapsed. We have product that have collapsed. We have industry. Now, let me tell you one industry that has collapsed and more are going to collapse. Now, communication industry. In the olden days, there was something called com center.
Yeah.
Where is it? Com center. The olden days, before you make a call, international call, you go and pay, join a queue. You bring your number, they'll give you a time. Come at this time. When you call landing, you get them. At time when you call landing, if you go add-on, you won't get them. If you want to call landing, you have to wait Saturday and Sunday. That's olden days. All this industry are fed up because of what? Product life cycle. And there are more industry that are going to fade off. A typical one is traditional teaching, lecturing. They're also going to fade off. A time will come, lecturing won't be like the traditional way we do it. It will be advanced. Do you get it? So that one, we call it what? Extension of a product. Now, the very first stage in product life cycle is the introduction stage. So introduction stage, that's the very first stage. That is it. So very first stage is introduction. Please don't let your central focus go through this introduction. It's something that is very common. It's in every textbook. So don't let your focus be there as a strategic. Let your focus be on the course implication. It's relevant. What we have to do. Then the next stage after introduction. Growth. So growth. Then maturity. Then the last one, decline. You are out of the market. So then the last one, decline. You see? So both product goes through this. Company also goes through this. Where is Ejapia Bitters? I'm looking for them. When I was young, I used to hear their names. Pusho, Pusha, shall I Pushwa? Well, all these people. It's a company, but they are no longer there. It tells you clearly that even companies have what? Their birthday and their death day. And as well as industry. So please don't let our central focus be on the product. The product over there is just a classical life cycle. It's just a classical life cycle. And then that's all. So now let's start with the introduction. We don't need to spend much time at explaining this. And I'm very sure you know this already. Introduction is where the product has been what? Newly launched. So here the company have started. The industry have what? Emerged. So both the company, the product, the industry have what? Emerged. Over here is the very first stage. In fact, sales is very low. And the firms incur huge cost because at the initial stage, your cost base, you must buy assets, you must buy this. So at the end of the day, you must invest in capital expenditure. Your startup cost and running costs, all of them are high. And yet, the product cannot. Over here, the cash flows are always negative. And it will always give you loss. The product is always giving you loss. If it's a company, it will be a loss. If it's an industry, it will be a loss. Yes. So ask the airline companies. They will tell you when they started. The airline companies. They will tell you. So at this stage, first thing you can tell the examiner is that, Mr. Examiner, at this stage, sales is very low, whilst costs are on the rise.
What cost?
cost, running cost, both startup and running cost is very high. So here, low sales level, high startup cost, so startup cost, and what? Running cost. At the initial stage, whether product, company, or industry, when you start, your startup cost will be on the rise because you must buy what? Machines, setup, investment, all this. So here, investment cost. You must invest. So here, like this, we can put a full investment appraisal question here at the initial stage. Appraise it using product life cycle and investment appraisal coming together. It will be a very nice combination. Very, very nice combination. And that is it. Now, over here, because the cash flows are always negative, that examiner, negative cash flow. It means that whatever you received at that stage is less than what you spend. Your expenditures are always outweighing what? At performing than your revenues. So negative cash flow. So this will inform you the kind of strategy you must adopt. Here you can, there are several strategies you have to adopt here. So in terms of marketing, what will be the marketing strategy? In terms of operation, what will be the operational strategy? And in terms of the product itself, or the company, or the industry, what will be the strategy? So as a strategist, this is what you have to look at for us. And this one, please, it differs. The strategy you can ask a tomato producer to adopt, it's not the same strategy that you can give it to what? Phone developers, software developers. No, because all these products have a different life cycle. Product, company, and the industry. Good.
So what we will
So these are the unique features that this stage will exhibit. Based on these features, and that is where we can what? Give a strategy. Please and please again, before a good doctor will give a prescription, he must do a diagnosis test first to see the cause of the illness, the underlying factor, before he can now put some medicine together. That is why anybody who have not diagnosed, you do try and error. Now try this, take this medicine first. If it doesn't work, come for this. Oh, I forgot, I was supposed to give you, I was supposed to add a biku. Oh, I forgot, I was supposed to add this. No. So as a strategist, we must first of all know the features. We must know the features. We must know the features of each stage. Then we can now what? Prescribe a strategy. So first, if you're going to develop a strategy, there must be strategy on what? Marketing. Marketing strategy. So if you're developing a strategy, because of the negative cash flow, we must develop a strategy. Marketing strategy, operational strategy, and product itself. And then the company, it can be the company and the industry. That is it. Marketing strategy. Marketers will tell that at that stage, more advertising, personal selling. That's what they will tell you. Right? Do promotion. That's why you see them people, in fact, everywhere, every program, they are sponsoring the program to just promote their product. Over here, you must, under the marketing strategy, in fact, you must create awareness. You must create awareness of the product. At the initial stage, awareness. Forget it. Your product can be the best ever. If people are not seeing your product anywhere, forget it. They will not patronize it. So awareness. Then you create what you call interest. How then do you create interest? Then you convert the interest to be a desire. Then finally, it turns this one to what? Into purchase or patronage. What a wow. So this is the marketing strategy you could adopt. Please, in exams, this is not what we want from. These are textbook stuffs. We are now going to look out for the practical application of the product life cycle itself. Good. Now, then we go to the operational. Yeah, are we going to compute? Are you going to increase quality management? Are you going to look for outsourcing? If we are incurring higher cost, then let's give somebody to produce for us. So that's why some products, some organization will start, then realize that no, look, we can't produce it at cheaper. So let's give it out, someone to produce for us. Are you going to reduce cost by involving just in time? So that's the operational strategy. At the initial stage, what you must think of. And then the product itself, you see, do we have to continue or cut the product life short? Please, the company can cut product life cycle short. If the product is supposed to last for 5 years, they can recall it that we now say we are bringing this product, we are sorry, we can't continue again. Then they'll cut all the product off. We don't want to produce it again. Do we have to continue? Some company will start a little bit along. In fact, after first 2-3 years of operation, we don't see them again. So that is the initial stage. So I am done with the introduction stage. This that we have done, it has no mean application. Now we know what happened at the introduction stage. Now we know what happened at the introduction stage. It does not mean that this is what the strategy. It does not mean this application. So after we learn the stages, we now go to cost implication. And then we now add in the rest of the story to it. Good. Now, the next stage we have to talk about is what? Is the growth stage. The growth. What is the growth? Now, when you say the growth stage, now at this stage, the sales, in fact, the sales demand in the particular market start growing at the fastest rate. Yes. So here sales is like on the rise. So growing in sales. At a what? Fast rate. And that's very true. Small time when you go, they sell. Small time when you go, they sell. At that stage, if you don't put on right mechanism, right strategy in place, and this does not continue, it will be a problem. Good. Okay, friends are asking, any strategy under the product company and industry? Yes, there's strategy. You see, there's strategy. Let's go back. There's strategy. Under the product company and industry, that is where you say withdraw. You withdraw. Some of the products right after introduction, after few stages, they call it back. They don't continue again. Some of them too, they will intentionally hide the product from the market. I can give you one of the products. There was a certain drink that came 2018, 2019. There was a drink called 10/10. We used to celebrate the Xmas. After the Xmas, it's vanished from the system. So now we don't have start drink again. There's a lot of product that right after introduction, they can cut it off. So here the strategy is that either you withdraw or you continue. If you think the cost that you are going to incur, they are coming more increasing, the startup cost is increasing, and this product doesn't have a feature, what do? You withdraw. Some of the products, they only complement others. Yes, some of the products, they don't come in to come and make more money for you. They only come in to help you produce the other ones as a complement. Because if somebody does not buy car, they will not buy the fuel. So complement. So that is it. So here, the strategy is that you withdraw. You withdraw. And you can increase product features. But at this stage, it is not appropriate for you to increase product features. If you do that, you are killing your product gradually. You see, it's like you are giving much more to customer. At the initial stage of every product life, do not increase the product features. Like when iPhone started, it started with iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone 3. As time goes on, they're not increasing the product features.
So at the growth stage, do we increase the product features?
Good. Over there, yes, we increase the features on a gradual mode, and then we move on. So here, increasing product features will not be a good option to you. Unless products have the shortest life, like a service industry, you deliver.
Growth stage.
Now, we can now move on to the growth stage. At the growth stage, sales is at what? Fast rate. Your sales is on the rise. Cost, the average cost. The average cost begins to reduce. Why would our average cost reduce? Why? Now your average cost reduce because now you are producing more. Now you are producing more. All other things being equal, the more you produce, the lesser the cost, the average cost. What make the average cost? You see, your total cost made up of what? Fixed cost. Do you get it? Your total cost made up of what? Fixed cost. And fixed cost, the more you produce, the smaller the fixed cost become. So when somebody tells you that average cost reduces when you produce more, please, it's only the fixed cost component. Because variable cost, the more you produce, the more you incur variable costs. We never say that, oh, the materials, the more we produce, the lesser we use. No. If you're producing 5 bottles, you need 5 bottles. If I'm producing 30,000 bottles, do I need 1,000 bottles? No, I still need 30,000 bottles. But the fixed cost, when I produce more, the fixed cost become what? Smaller. So at the growth stage, the cost start reduce. But yes, to some of the products, even at the growth stage, the cost start increasing. Especially industry like mining firms. Mining firm, even at the growth stage, they start increasing in cost. So know the industry that you are applying the analysis to. So I don't come and then deviate for us. Yes, good. Now the next one we'll talk about is this. At this stage, we now start to earn little profit. So there will be a little profit at the growth stage. At the growth stage,
I'm coming. We've not got into the strategy.
So over here, there will be what? Profit. Because when average cost start to slow down, and sales is going up, the net effect is that there will be what? Profit start to rise. So profit will start from this level. So profits or net cash flow will start increasing. Profit or net cash flow will start increasing. I hope you get it. So profit or net cash flow will start to increase. So that is where, if all this does not start, there's a problem somewhere. Ideally, when your sales are going up, when your costs are coming down, the next thing we should expect is that your profit must also start what? Seeing some level of what? Increasing, on the rise, on a gradual basis, small. But if even at this stage, if still your cost is still on the rise, sales are not coming, then that is where there's a problem. So over here, that is what we have to look out for. Good. Now, here, there will be new entrants attracted to the market. This is where the important thing have to see. Another great news, this one, new entrant will be what? Will be attracted. Will be attracted. Why? Why are they attracted? They are attracted because of two reasons. Why is that just right now you started, your sales is going up like that? Why is everybody following you just right now you started? Why is your cost coming down? Okay, then I can also go there. So that's why when they started, Uber started. By the time I realized Yango, Taxify, Fameco, Fameba, Trotro, Trotsky, all of them are entering into the market because they realize that demand is going up and average cost is coming down. And that is so at this stage, if we're strategic or strategist and you don't develop the proper strategy, the competitor will know your downfall and come and use that one as a tool to enter the market and reduce your customers. So basically, so this side is very important. So here they will be attracted due to increase in sales. You're only interested in increase in sales and then the reduction in cost. So that is what they will probably look out for. Then what are the strategies available? At this stage, what are the strategies? At this stage, let me group them into three again. Marketing strategies. What are the marketing strategies you do here? Marketing strategies. In fact, over here, there's a lot of marketing strategies even at the initial stage. Even the pricing strategy. The pricing strategy, either you use market penetration or price scheming or differential, and then the rest. Now, at this stage, the marketing strategy, what will be the best marketing strategy at the growth stage? The best marketing strategy. Now, sales is going up. So here, you don't reduce advertising. You still advertise the product until the product reach the maturity. Don't stop adverts.
So one,
So here, advertising and promotion. You promote the business or the product. Here, many entities relax. So by the time I realize the competitor have set in with a new product to combat the existing ones. So let's take note of that. Again, aside this, here you can do what you call, you can take feedback, customers' feedback. So here at that time, a lot of the products have gone to the system. And this customers' feedback that you take at the marketing stage will tell us on what to do on the product. Customers' feedback. This is what we use to develop the product strategy. Whether we should extend the product or we should even increase the product life. And then basically, that is the game. So let's take notice what we have to do at this growth stage. At this stage, we must still continue with advertising. Just that the advertising cost reduce. It's not as compared to what? The initial stage. The initial stage in India, we are doing awareness. Everywhere we did there. Every program, we have to sponsor the program. And then that is it. All right. So basically, we are done with the game. Then we move on to what do we have to do in terms of operations? Operations here still TQM will function, total quality management.
Operation and
So total quality management, quality at all level. Then another strategy that we could probably adopt
operation.
are the
Total
quality. Then inventory control system. Here we have to set a strategy on the level of inventory goods that we can hold at a time. Sometimes because we know that when we produce more, they will be buying, we end up producing a lot more than we can sell on the market and wasting the rest of the resources. So inventory control system, very important at this level. Because warehousing, and then here, the storage of the product, very important, warehousing.
So that is 3.
Good. At this stage, at the product itself, for the product itself, or the company itself, or the industry, because there are a lot of eyes on the product because the product has run fast. The company started, a lot of people are entering into the same thing. They want to do the same thing. Then that is where you do what you call extension. So extension is the key over here. You extend the product. So extension of what? Product features. Very important. At the growth stage. So for example, you know that competitors will bomb set in with their product when they realize that your product have reached a growth stage. So at that stage, what do you have to do? Add 1 or 2 small feature to it so that it can change the whole storyline. Because they realize that you are just putting ordinary maize. After flying it, just ordinary maize, you fly it and then you bag it. Now add some extra feature to it so that they cannot do it. That's why if you check Apple, every year they try to add a particular feature to the iPhone that the old one doesn't have. So when Samsung or Huawei is trying to steal the features of, let's say, the previous iPhone, the next one that is coming with something new. So before you are stealing the yesterday's one, we are rather bringing something new on board. So it's not like we are stuck to whatever we produced yesterday. No, we must add something to it. So Apple will introduce a phone today, exactly a year by this time. They add 1 feature or 2 to it, making it what? New on the market. And that is the product life cycle. So Apple really understand product life cycle. They don't joke with product life cycle. Yes. And especially product that, say here, point number 2, product that have a shorter life cycle, right? At the growth stage, you do rebranding. Product that have shorter life cycle. So product with what? Product with shorter life cycle. We need rebranding at the growth stage, repackaging at the growth stage. So it might sound so new for you to do rebranding at the growth stage. That is, some of the product right after the growth, it fade off of the market. Shorter life cycle. Those one, the rebranding starts right at what? At the growth stage. Then right after this stage, so all this, knowing this, and yet it differ from company to company, product to product. So let's take note of that. Then the last stage is what? Decline. Yes, that's the point of death. The decline stage. Then I will now apply this model. I've not even applied it to. All to learn is just a normal. Maturity. I thought I'm done with it too. I wanted to finish fast. Okay, so maturity, let's go. Now, at this stage, the product, in fact, the product, like I've gained 8 words, 8 popularity in town. So now everybody know the product has come to stay. So total sales remain stable.
Has come to stay.
Yes. So here, total sales remain stable. Total sales remains stable. Total sales remain stable, fairly stable. So at this stage, you know that, oh, every year you are getting 20,000. Total still remains fairly stable. It means that the sales are being consistent with their figures. At least you are getting, so those ones at that stage, you see, in fact, prices and profit stabilize. So here prices and profit stabilize. So prices and profits stabilize. So prices and profits stabilize. You know why it stabilize? Because your sales is also stable and your price is also stable. So you go to a point, some of the product, the price remain the same. There's a product in a country or along the coast of Africa, they normally advertise as still 1 cedi. And it remained for over 5 to 10 years. It was still 1 cedi. That was Pepsi. Yes. To remain still 1 cedi. And then the Coke side of life came in. At that time, Coke was 2 cedis and tried to compete fairly. And they also reduced the price from 2 cedi to 1 cedi. Realized that the competition was very tough. Coke have to increase the price back to 3 cedis. So now at this stage, everything is stable. Now, over here, we must do what? Like, we need a lot of different product. In fact, we need what you call differentiating and updating. That's what will solve the problem. So here, we must identify what you call a niche. When you reach that stage, you must know whom you will deliver your product to. Do you get it? Yes, that's the niche. So that is it. So at this stage, you have
the meaning.
now at this stage.
To get
Now at this stage, cash flows
niche, yes.
Cash flows are positive. Positive and what? Stable. Take notice. You know the amount of cash that will come. At this stage, cash flows are what? Positive. At this stage, cash flows are positive and they are stable. If it's 20,000 a year, 20,000, 40,000. So at least the variations are not too huge as compared to the introduction and then the growth stage. The growth stage, the cash flows doesn't remain stable. It changes. Hey, this year you can sell like 40,000, next year it's 100,000. The following year, 200,000. At the growth stage, your cash flows are always increasing on the rise. But at the maturity stage, that one you have reached saturation. So if you take 2 balls a day, every day, 2 ball, 2 ball, 2 ball, 2 ball, 2 ball. So stable cash flow. So the cash flow will go on the rise and it remains stable for some time and start declining. So it will go up, remain on top there for some time. And then if you don't do anything, and then start dropping. Yes. So now let's go and look for the strategies. Here, there are a lot of strategies you must do.
Under the maturity.
Under the maturity, this is where the actual strategy must start from, because at that stage, there's a lot of strategy. Even Ansoff gave us a lot of strategy at that stage. Yes. So in terms of the market, here the actual truth of the matter is that the opportunity to grow, additional growth does not exist. That's why we call it what? You have reached the maturity. You can't grow again. If you like, do whatever you can do, you can never grow again. You see? So opportunity for more growth no longer what? Exists. So you need like a turnaround strategy. Yes. So turnaround strategy. So here you have to do what you call niche segment. So here we need the marketing strategy that we have to adopt at the maturity stage. Now, when I say niche market segment, that means we have to look for a particular group of people that no matter what, they will never decline our product. Every morning they are taking it. So that particular segment that we have grouped and created for ourselves, it will remain. So that one, it will not reduce. So it means that we are trying to put something in your mind that they should always be there for us. That's why we have identified smaller groups. That's why we don't want masses, so that people will stop along the line. So the marketing strategy that we have to do now is to what? To do niche market segment. So we call it niche market segment. Niche market segment. So over here, identify smaller group and deal with them. Identify smaller group and deal with them. If you are going to focus on the masses, but then realize they are going elsewhere. That's why some markets will surely pick up your product. Again, in terms of market, here we can also what you call develop market. So market development. Market development. It means don't stay at one position. If you only sell in Africa, try elsewhere. You sell only in Ghana, try moving to the next borderline and see whether they partners your products. Try to the next country, next 2 countries. Because now your product have matured in Ghana here. They are okay. Ghanaians are fed up with your products. It has reached a stage where, they know it already. They know your taste. They know your color. So in terms of marketing, why can't you try elsewhere where your product have not reached? That is why some of the products we enjoy here, they were extending it, but they realized that's reached here. It's through this because it was saturated over there. It reached its maturity stage to the extent that the people over there were fed up with it and they started to moving it up. So that's what we call the market development. Now, what are the operational strategies? Operational strategies. Operational strategies. And you need all these strategies if you want to what? If you want to improve profits. Yes, if you want to improve profits, all the strategies, this is what you need. If you want to improve profit, this is what you have to what? Do. Good. And then that is it. Now, at the operational stage, here can we increase? So here, third examiner, increase quality. Quality. Yes. Have you seen some product that, oh, we have increased the quality? Oh, now some of the drinks, the soft drinks, if a carton contains, let's say 24, now they make it 30. Now,
If you water.
yes, if it is 12, they make it 14 and 15 and 16. They're adding three extra to it. Now, if at first the quality level is about 20%, now we have made it 30%. They've announced it. Now they realize that the product has reached a stage where it can't go up again. People are okay. People are tired. The product has reached a stage where it has matured. So now what do we have to do? Tell the people that now I have upgraded, I've added additional quality. That is the only way that it will attract what? New people to join the team. So increase in what? Quality. Good. Now, when it comes to the product, most of the work have to be done on the product. So here I have a lot of story to tell. Product or the company or what? The industry. First thing you have to do what to call product update. Product what? Update.
Product.
Yes, product update or upgrading. Upgrade. Upgrade the product. Still, I'll come back to iPhone. You have to upgrade it. So if it is Nokia 3310, now upgrade it to Nokia what? 3360, 4590. If it is iPhone 14, now upgrade it to what? iPhone 15. So it will tell them that, oh, so you believe that the new iPhone is different from the iPhone 14 that they just bought? No, they just upgraded it too. They all have the same functions. So only one they've added, just one, they've upgraded it. But when they do the little upgrade they will do, like Geisha, the little packaging, new branding that they will do, you come and tell us that now they bought new products on top. So now the product becomes new. The product becomes what? New. Good. So here, rebranding, repackaging. The packaging is also important. So repackaging, as usual. Repackaging or rebranding. And I'll tell you when to do this. Or rebranding. You need to do this when you cannot upgrade a product. Product that the highest quality you can ever produce is where you are now. You can't increase the quality. An attempt to increase the quality will bring you abnormal cost that you cannot bear. You're not ready to bear that cost. I don't know, you spend all the money if you had on it. So the only option you have is to do what? Change the feature, the packaging. But the product that you can upgrade, forget about packaging. iPhone is number one, you can upgrade. If the cameras are 2, now make it 3. People like plenty cameras. Now, if the cameras are just 3, make 1 to it, make it 4. Now, Huawei have done something where we have 360 camera, where the back cam and the front cam can be operated at the same time. Now, a time will come, you see that they will have a camera that will rotate front and then the back cameras can operate at the same time. There's no need for you to switch it. All the two can work. That is the product upgrade. What if we can't do this to your product? Then in that case, just change the packaging. Like geisha soap. Tell them that yes, it's the old geisha, but you have improved. Even check the packaging. You have improved everything. That is it. Then again, you must do what you call product differentiation. Very important. Product what? Differentiation. You need this. Product differentiation. Yes. If you want to improve the profit, differentiate the product. So differentiate your product. Differentiate your product. So that it will look new from that of the competitor's own. So product differentiation is very key. Very key when the product is getting to the maturity stage. Why is it that you go, Benz will be there, BM will be there, Toyota will also be there, but those that know their BM know their BM. Those that know their Benz know their Benz. Differentiation. Those that know their Toyota know. Those that know their Mahindra, they also know. And that is it. So differentiating the product is the best option when the product reaches what? The maturity. You differentiate from that of those that, other than that, by the time you realize that if you don't differentiate your product, in fact, you're making advert for someone. Almost in African countries, especially Ghana, all powdered soap are called Omo.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, it's because of the differentiation. All powdered soap are called what? Omo. So if you don't differentiate your product, they will refer your product as what? Omo. Your soap is not what? Omo. If you like, give it the any name you want, it will still be called what? Omo. Buy me Omo, but I want the clear salt one. That is how they will call it. And that is it. It's about what? Product differentiation. It's because when they reached there, when ClearSoft came, they failed to differentiate their product from what? Omo. So they will still refer to as Omo. So any advert ClearSoft will make, Omo will take it. Omo will take the name. They say, oh, there's some new Omo that has come on top. Can I get one? Oh, I don't have some, but I still have Omo. Okay, give it to me. And that is it. Product differentiation at this stage. Now let's go to the last stage, the decline stage. And do you know why we have to do all these things? Why we have to do the upgrade, repackaging, product life differentiation is just to extend the life. That's all. So all these are strategies we do to extend product life. We do upgrade, we do update, repackaging, rebranding, product differentiating. We do all this to do what? Extend the life. That's all. The life of the product, so that the product doesn't decline from the market. If you don't do this, your product will move out. There's a soap called dark soap. I don't see them again. Sementia. Yes. So if you don't do rebranding, repackaging, your product will go off. And it's automatic. The last stage is called decline. At this stage, that's the point of death. There's nothing you can do about it. Here, total sales in the market will start to fall.
You said that decline is from it. What did you say from it?
I say at the point of death.
At the point of death. Point of what? Death. That is the decline stage. At this stage, it's a stage where total sales start to fall. So here, total sales start to fall. Yes, your sales start going down. And as sales fall, what happened to profit? Will profit increase?
No.
So tell the examiner the same. And profit will follow suit. Profit also falls as well. Yeah, profit also decline. What about cash flow? Also goes down. Profit and cash flow move in line. Now, if it is a company, they gradually leave the market. They don't want trouble. At some point, it's no longer possible to produce and sell the product at a profit. In fact, the profit will reduce and decline. So both profit and cash flow also decline. And at some point, profit will be negative. At some point, take notice of this stage. Profit will be what? Will be negative. Let me ask a question now. If you are producing and your profit are going down, but it's still positive, will you stop?
No.
If you are producing, your profit is going down, but it's still positive. So imagine that maybe your profit was 500,000 every year. Then it came to 400,000 every year. Then it came to 300,000 every year. You try everything you could. It still dropped to 200,000. It still dropped to 100. Now 50,000. Will you stop? Once there's profit coming, I will not stop until when the profit enter into what? Negative. That is when I produce and make loss. So that one I will not even go again. So the decline stage will step in when the profit start decline until the point where the profit becomes what? Negative. And that's why we have to now kick the product from the market. So even at the decline stage, some companies can operate for some time. Yes, because decline stage, that is where the profits start declining. Sales will start going down. Your profit will start what? Going down. Now, at this stage, here you can operate for some time. You only stop when it enters into what? The negatives. When it's no longer possible to produce and sell at what? At a profit. So at that stage, the product have to be what? Discontinued. So at the stage where, yes. So at the stage where, so at this stage, the product must be what? Discontinued. So at this stage, the product must be discontinued or abandoned or delayed or removed from the market. Yeah, what's the best strategy when your product is removed? Here, the strategy you have to do is that you can do replacements. So you cut one product off, bring new one in. You see? Like the way they cut IAS and they are now bringing what? IFRS in. You get it? So the strategy is that you can replace that product.
Replace.
Yes, replace. Use the word replace. No amount of upgrade, no amount of product extension can do revival. If there was a revival, you could have done at what stage? Maturity stage. No revival could save at the decline stage. At the time that the product has said that I'm going off, no matter what, it will go off. So here, what do? That one, cut it off fast and replace it. So you said that, oh, when we stop producing this, we brought one that came to replace it. So that good satisfaction, that, in fact, the good taste you enjoy from the previous product, you have even improved it in the new one. And that's how such company make an advert. Like, oh, we have taken this product off and replaced it by. So that's a strategy you can adopt. So I'm done with the product life cycle. Now, this what I've done now, I've not done anything. I've only introduced you to the stages. Now left the application specific section. So the next thing that we have to do is to have to now talk about the cost implication. Cost implication. Implication. Now, one of the important for us to learn product life cycle is to know what? Is to know the cost implication. We call it life cycle costing. So for those who have done management accounting before, it is something called life cycle what? Costing. That's what we are learning here. Life cycle costing. So those who have done management accounting before, so if you say cost implication of product life cycle, in other words, it means what? Life cycle costing or cost. So life cycle what? Costing. So here we are now going to demarcate cost to the new product. So that's all we are going to do. Now, it includes research and development cost. So where do you think it will feature in? R&D, research and development cost. So last thing, for all those who answered the product life cycle, I was expecting them to explain research and development cost, which of the stages. And thank God, last case study has a lot of research. In fact, the word research was mentioned several times in the case. Hope you saw it. So I just want you to bring it in your explanation. So research and development cost.
Will be at the introductory stage.
Exactly at the development of the product. So that is where they must incur. You know, the product, before they introduce it, they normally do research and what? Development. So here the costs that we are interested in there. So when we mention them, then you tell us where exactly they have to incur it. And that is the application we are talking about. Now, one, we say what? Research and development what? Cost. So here, these costs are incurred at what stage? At the development stage, and it continues at the introduction stage. No, companies do a lot of research day in, day out. Any company that invests high in a research, it's a typical example of what?
Technology.
Cost control and cost reduction. It's in management accounting. If we spend a lot of money in terms of research, it means that you are controlling certain costs. Yes, because research will always let you reduce your cost. Training cost. Why do you think we need training costs? At what stage? Training. Training cost still at the introduction stage, so that the employees will know how to produce a product. Don't forget that this product is new.
Development stage, he says that is the same as the
Now, training cost. Training cost. Where exactly we have to incur training cost? Training cost must be incurred or must be organized right at the introduction. Some of the product our employees don't know because this product is very new. It's a new product, new company, new industry. Training must be going on. Training. So anytime there's a new product coming out, training. So last thing, I was only expecting answers like this area. Feature it in. So your explanation of life cycle costing will never be complete until you feature in this training course, this research. So every stage, what extra work they have to do. That's the cost implication. And then machinery cost. Machinery. So here we can say capital expenditure. What stage is that? Capital expenditure. Right at what? Introduction stage. You need machines to produce. And you can also need them at, let's say, at the maturity. Sometimes, and the growth stage. Sometimes, when you want to upgrade a product, it requires a new technology, a new machines. So that is it. One thing about strategy that makes strategy very nice is that it's always centered on how you argue your point to us. Good. And then production cost. Where exactly will it feature in? So production cost. Where will the production cost be very high? Where will it reduce? At the initial stage, production cost is what? High on the rise because we don't produce more. At the growth stage, the production cost, especially the fixed cost in the production component, start reducing over time. Hence, production cost reduce. So this is the cost implication of it. We cannot learn life cycle without this. Distribution and selling cost, where exactly will it feature in? Distribution and selling cost. Distribution and selling cost. Good. So the growth and maturity, that's where we start. Sales starts increasing. So that is where we have to establish distribution channels, outlets, a lot of segment. Last thing, if you check the case careful, the company were, even though it's centered in Ghana, they have a lot of distribution channels in outside country, even in US, Asia. It tells you clearly. You just have to tell us where they must increase these distribution channels. That's all, at the growth stage. So if the current distribution channel they have, they were having 5 for last sentence question. We're having 5. So if it's not enough, they have to do what? Increase it, add more. But we are bringing new product on board, add more, add more. So this is what we're expecting from product life cycle.
So last year, product life cycle came. So
So basically, that is it. Now, let me do another one. What about working capital, marketing? Marketing cost. I think most of this we have speak to it. The 6th one I'll talk about is what? Marketing.
Marketing cost.
Marketing cost. Where exactly do we need marketing cost? We need it all.
Maturity.
At the introduction,
In all the stages.
At the introduction, we need to increase. In fact, the marketing cost is high at the introduction because the product must be known to the customer. We spend more at the introduction marketing because at that stage, if your product does not get to the customer on time, it will delay the product life cycle. And at the maturity, we incur marketing cost, but it's not as compared to what at the introduction. Then at the growth, we incur marketing costs. Then at the maturity, reduce the marketing cost. Because at the maturity, no amount of marketing you do, the customer will buy additional product too. Because that product cannot grow beyond that stage. The product cannot grow beyond that stage. Even at that stage, Ansoff suggested that we have to consolidate the market using Ansoff growth matrix. He said that we should do what? Consolidate the market. It means that we have to make sure that we remain on top. If we are the leader in that market, we remain there. We don't go down. And that's at the maturity stage. Again, you can also tell the examiner that working capital. Where do we need working capital? At the initial stage. Enough working capital to be introduced so that we don't have interruptions in production. So at the initial stage, you need to introduce adequate and good working capital so that there will not be what? Any interruption in what? Production. If you fail to address working capital issue, you have a problem with what? Production. Shortage of raw material will be always your news. You have short raw material because you don't have enough money to buy from the suppliers. You're running something like, you're running whatever money you generate from the small sales. At the initial stage, sales is not enough. So if you depend on sales to produce, you're collapsing your business. You are actually collapsing your potential growth. So working capital is very important. And the retirement and disposal cost, where do you think it will feature in? Retirement and disposal cost. Retirement and disposal cost. As usual, that's a decline stage. Very interesting. So last thing, this is what we expect from you to tell us. Retirement and disposal cost. And disposal cost. You see, Unilever in 2018 and 2020, they disposed of one of their brand called margarine, the blue brand margarine. Yeah, that's why Unilever disposed it of. They retired that particular brand because it has reached towards maturity. That blue brand, when we were young, like it has become norm in the family. Everybody like it. It has reached its what? Maturity, saturated point. Now they have to do what? Retire and dispose it off to someone else. Yes, you see what they did. When they realized that their product has reached a point where they cannot increase their sales, why can't we transfer to someone and take huge money than to allow the brand to crash and die from the market? At least the disposal process can even get us a new product on board. Have you seen strategy? If you have a product that have a very good name, Blue Band was having a very good name. Blue Band margarine. It was one of the best in town. For those who do pastry, you are aware of all these stuffs. So basically, that is that. Now, we are done. And then we move on with the game. And here, what do you think will be the benefit and relevance of product lifecycle strategic management? I think, and that's the end of the storyline. So we are the tail end of the storyline.
Benefit and
the benefit of life cycle costing. This one is life cycle what? Costing. How is it different from life cycle, product life cycle? So let me see if you can tell me the strategic difference between product life cycle and life cycle costing.
In terms of costing, we are
Life
talking
cycle.
about how much capital we are going to.
Now, the product life cycle is the stages that the product will go through from the point of birth to point of what? Death. But the life cycle cost at each stage, the cost that we are likely to incur at each stage of the product life. That's all. So if it has like stage 1, what's the likely cost we have to incur? Stage 2 and its likely cost. That's all. So here they may ask you to come out with the importance. The importance is not something which is difficult. You can just tell the examiner. It's just a technique. It can be used to reduce cost over the life of the product. So product life cycle can be used to reduce what? Cost. That's the life cycle costing. That one, it tells us the total cost over the product life. Yes. And I will put some material on the page for you. Those who are on the page, I'll put some material be there, and then for further reading. These ones are just technical. They are not too technical. They're just basic ones. So, and then it can also help us to assess the profitability of a product. We can use it to assess the profitability, to also determine pricing strategy. So life cycle costing can be used to determine what? Can be used to determine pricing strategy. Because one of the main factors that affects price is what? Is the cost of the product. You can never price any product without giving reference to what? It costs. No way. Now we call it what? Political pricing. That's how politicians price their things. Now when they don't look at the cost, no. But with the strategist, life cycle costing assists us to determine the pricing strategy you must adopt. You get it? And it also helps to monitor the actual performance of the product. That's the performance, means actual performance of the product against what? The plan. Against the plan. So that is what we can say. Now, the last section, then we are done for the game. Relevance of product life cycle to strategic management. So why do we learn product life cycle? But now you should be able to tell me why we learn product life cycle in summary. You see,
Relevance.
relevance of
Relevant.
yes, relevance. So the last point of the story is relevance of product life to strategic management, or to strategic management. Any of them you have to go. So we call it relevance of product life cycle to strategic management. So the question is, why do we even learn tonight? Why are we learning product life cycle? Yes, we are aware that all of us are strategists. So why do we need product life cycle in strategic management? That's all. So here it's only for one reason. Let's summarize it. So I'm going to just summarize it. The reason, the relevance of product life cycle is that, you see, in strategic management, we must we must analyze cash flows and profitability of a product over its entire life. And that is why we need a tool. So the reason is that to do what? To analyze what? Cash flows and what? Profitability. Cash flows and profitability. Then you say of a product. When I mention a product, it refers to three things: product, company, and what? Industry. I like that. See? So when you go to the exams and they ask you to apply to an industry, you just have to be deleting product and put industry there. And put industry there. So we need industrial life cycle to analyze the cash flows and profitability of that industry over its entire life. So over what? Its entire life. That's all. So last written question, your conclusion. I was expecting someone to write something like this as your conclusion. You are done. You get your conclusion mark. So in conclusion, this has been helpful to analyze the cash flows and profitability of the product. You mentioned the product they produce over its entire life. And that's the conclusion. And that is the relevance of what? The model. Then we move on with the game. Now, they have to also, we normally also use it to assess position of products in its life cycle. So position. Position of a product in its what? Life cycle. That's another way. Position of a product. So one, position of a product. And anywhere I mention a product, you can put company or industry there. So position of a product in its what? Life cycle. So that is why, this evening we are worrying ourselves to learn, because we want to know position of a product, every product. So anytime a company wants to develop a new product, they don't do anything. No. They just go to the position of their current product. So do we need to replace any of our products? Do we need to bring a secondment, a product that will come and then complement another one? And that is all. And then they're now going for a new product. And then another important point is that it helped them to know the timing of market entry and exit. What a wow. So we only have to adopt product life cycle. It helps us know the timing of what? Market entry and exit.
Under the position.
No, it's on its own. So it's still one of the important or relevant of what? Of product life cycle to strategic management. To know when exactly I must enter a particular market and when exactly I must end. And now you know when you must end, right? When your profits start becoming what? Negative. When your profits start declining, no problem, you can still sell. But as soon as it becomes negative, stop.
Yes.
So to just know the timing. So to identify the timing of market entry. Market entry and what? Exit. That's all. Some of the company don't know when they should bring product. They are good, but they are releasing their product anyhow. We don't do that. We don't easily do that. Know when exactly the first product comes, the next one continues, so that at every point in time, you have something to offer to your customers. Other than that, if you release all the product today and all of them fade up, which one are you going to use tomorrow?
You are finished.
And now you don't have anything to offer again. So small time, they don't have anything to offer. And that is why it means that product life cycle is a bit not learnable. Yeah, so that is it. And then the cycle completion. Yeah, so here the cycle completion is just another concept for understanding the behavior of competitors in the market. When it says cycle completion or cycle competition. When it says cycle competition, it's just another concept for understanding how competitors behave in a market. Cycle competition.
Okay.
Cycle competition. So we've learned 3 relevance. So now I can now move on comfortably to what? Cycle completion. Cycle competition.
Cycle, a series of events that are regularly repeated in the same order.
So cycle what? Competition. It tells us how competitors do what? Behave. How competitors what? Behave.
The cycle competition.
Yes. How competitors behave in a market. How competitors behave in a market. How competitors behave in what? A market. That's all. I can even add this point. Can I add this point to the relevance? I write it this way. The 4th relevance is that you see, life cycle also help us to analyze competition. So it's a technique for competition analysis, life cycle. So why do we learn product life cycles? For competition analysis. So our time now, when somebody's product is leaving the market, I bring mine. I will never bring my product when your product is at the growth stage. I will never make it. So life cycle analysis helps in competition analysis. Competition analysis. So it helps us to assess what we call strategic position and the nature of what competition. So it will tell us when you should bring your product and then the rest. So these are the strategic issues of what? Product life cycle. Please, you don't need to write all these points in exams. I'm begging you. I don't know if you're writing textbook. Just summarize it at least 1 point, 1 point, 1 point is enough. Just a summary in exams. And then you are free to go. And then that's all. Now, let me speak more about the cycle competition. The 4th point of the previous one.
Competition.
All right. So now, let me talk more about the cycle competition. So if you want to understand how competitors behave, you see, some of the competitors, they behave in terms of they fight with products. You bring the product today, someone bring another product, that come and beat your product. Someone made a phone, and that phone, they call it telephone. We can't even take it along. It's only at one position station. Someone also make a phone, mobile, first mobile phone, cannot go inside your pocket unless you have a sack and then you put it inside. Then someone also make another phone, very small, sizable one, very cute. And they thought it was the best phone ever when it came. So I said, no, let me make a screen touch phone. The first screen touch phone was very expensive. And somebody said, no. Let me make a phone that when you talk to it, it will still respond. It will still work. And now we are moving on. So that's what we mean by what? Cycle what? Competition. In the phone industry, this is how they behave. When somebody brings a technology, try to bring someone that is what? Above that. Unlike in the trotro industry, all of us in one lane. The same place all of us are going. We don't change. The same vehicle. Yes. So that is that. Now, when one company achieves some success in a particular market, competitors try to do something even better than them. How big get it? So when one competitor try to achieve a success, somebody brought Bolt, Uber, and achieved success. Bolt also came. Whatever, like Zango has arrived. Taxify is on the way coming, and the rest will join soon. Yes, so that is what we mean by what? The cycle of what? Competition. How the competitors they react in their particular market. Now, the cycle of competition, the main important is that it affects price and quality. One, the cycle of competition affects what? Price and what? Quality. It affects price and what? Quality. Why does it affect price and quality? Someone will make first product, somebody will improve on it and they'll bring it up. And another company will also come and improve on what you thought is the best ever. Someone will come and also do another improved version. We thought we are at the 4G is the best network ever. When 4G came, we are fighting our telcos. Please transfer my SIM card to 4G. Now 5G is in. Now 5G is in. Quality. So with this competition, cycle of competition, it improves quality of what? Product. Basically. And we can also say that the effect of a cycle competition is a growing market. Market that there's no competition, that market does not grow. Do you get it? So market that does not experience what? Cycle of what? Competition, there's no growth in such markets. So the effect of the cycle of competition is what? A growing market. Price will always fall, quality will always improve. The effect of cycle of competition in a growing market is that price falls. So price falls. So the effect of a cycle of competition in a growing what? Market is that price does what? Fall. So prices fall and quality may improve. That's all. Price will fall, quality will improve. So the same thing, somebody will do it better and still charge low because you want it to come.
What to fall price?
Prices fall and quality improves. Now, how do we link this to the product life cycle? And that's the last statement for the night. In the maturity phase of the product life cycle, you see, or even in the decline phase, it becomes more difficult to lower price without reducing quality. So at that stage, that is where competitors try to gain a bigger market share by selling at lower prices. But product quality may be reduced. And then this can lead to what? Falling prices. Good. The concept of the cycle of competition is useful in strategic analysis because it can help us to explain strategies of company in the market and to assess what future initiative might be what might be made by the competitors. Basically, that's all. So my next analysis will be on Boston Consulting Group. That will be our next meeting. And that one, I will talk about why Boston Consulting Group came out with the analysis, like the way I explained why Michael Eugene Porter developed the diamond, because there was a point in time on this earth that we're looking for, where we were looking for someone to come and explain to us why some company perform much more than, why some country perform much more than the other nation. And Michael Porter wrote a very good book on that to explain. And that's why we have Michael Porter's diamond. The same way Boston Group also came out with analysis. We call it portfolio analysis. That Boston Group matrix, BCG matrix, that one, it can be applied several times. Internal analysis, external analysis there, product strategy, options, everywhere. Boston Group is there. Like the product life cycle. Yes, also everywhere. So when we meet, then we look at it. If you have any question, can you drop the question before we close the chapter of the game? Let me, if I can draw the product life cycle. Let me see if I can draw. Let's see if we can draw here. If you have to draw, so this will be, draw it this way. Now let's see. How the diagram look like then? We are done with the game. You see, at the initial stage, you just have to introduce a particular product. Sales normally start from 0. Now, profitability is like this. And this one is a profit line. Take notice. This profit. And then you now demarcate the faces. So this one is not be steep. So this, and then this one have to be steep. Normally it's flat. This side should be flat. Good. That's the maturity and decline. So introduction, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage what? 4. We are done. That's all for the diagram. Here you put time here. This side is time. On the x-axis you put time. On the y-axis you put profit or revenue or cost or cash flow. Any of them can be here. And that's when time is going. What happened to your profit is also going up or declining. That's what this diagram seeks to explain. Now, there's a particularly bad news about product life cycle. I have to let you know. The criticism. It's not everywhere they can apply product life cycle. The way I've phrased it like this evening, it does not mean that everywhere product life cycle can be used. Some of the products you can never determine life cycle. Like you can't. So not all products have what we call classical life cycle. What we learn is called classical, systematic. There's order. Some of the products, it will even mature first. Some of the products, it will mature first before it will grow. Doesn't follow any order. So yes, unsuccessful product never became profitable. So let's take notice of that. So the biggest challenge with product life cycle is that not every product goes through the classical life cycle. Not all products. That's the challenge that we have. So basically, that is all for product life cycle. So this side is a loss. This side is also loss. Friends online, any question, contribution, suggestion for me?
I think we are fine. From my end, we are fine.
All right, so let me pick question here. Okay, so at the growth stage of the company, can existing company prevent new entrants as a strategy? Yes, at the growth stage, you can only prevent the company by improving on the product features. If you improve on the product features, it will deter the company from entering into the market. Reason being that now when they are starting, they must start before they will develop their product. Now, you have developed your product and now you have added a lot of features to it. So they cannot beat that features. And that's all. All right, so more questions. So the strategy you can adopt is increase the product features by then, and more adverts and will also make the products stay on for long. More questions before we end the game. Okay, so another question here. Another question for us. And then we move on with the game. All right, so don't forget to subscribe, and then if you have any other questions, you put a question in the comment box. And expect on the page, I will put a screenshot on some materials on the page for you. Further reading on product life cycle. And we need to maybe pick one application question, and then we look at it and do justice to it. So this is what we expect from you when we ask you for product life cycle. Our next section will be on Boston Consulting Group. Yes, so Boston Consulting Group, yes, we normally use it. It's also for industrial analysis. And then it's also for, we call it portfolio analysis, especially companies that have a lot of portfolio like Unilever, they sell a lot of products. So we have to rearrange the products based on their cash flows and based on their features, based on the relative market growth, and then the rest. So we'll look at that one too in addition. I think that was what we are left out with. So that is that. We normally take our time to go through it slowly, and then so they can grasp the models and move on. Any other question, suggestion, contribution before we say bye-bye to everyone that joined us today? Any question for us before we say bye-bye to today's section? Questions, contribution?